Hey, what's up, guys? Me and Soom, we just recorded a really amazing podcast. We want to tell you a little something about it.
Yeah, guys, we were talking a lot about different topics, but mainly we're talking about empaths and the skills that an empath needs, kind of like an empath survival guide.
Yeah, that's so true. We do talk a lot about how to protect your energy, how to become more balanced, separating your emotions from other people's emotions.
Yeah, we also talk about like hemisphere synchronization and a lot of interesting topics based on
Brain
duality.
stuff, brain stuff. Yeah, shadow work. How to do shadow work. Talking about exploring how to explore your own energy. You know,
Mm.
to create the boundary of your own energy.
Yeah, and we also touch briefly on how to use the elements like earth, wind, water, fire to be able to really be strong as an empath.
Which have to do with your chakra system. If you don't understand,
Totally.
if you're not understanding that you are nature, right? That's why we study nature, because you are nature. You're studying yourself. So when we study the elements, earth, wind, fire, ether, you're understanding who you are and what role you play in society. So that's all I wanted to say. Um, and yeah, guys, we'll see you at the end of this podcast.
Hope you enjoy this episode.
Welcome to the Better Man Podcast with Ivan and Sumedh. This podcast is all about how to be an optimal, conscious male in today's society.
Welcome back to the Better Man Podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
With Ivan and Sumedh.
That's right, guys. How's it going? We missed you guys. So yeah, man, how's it been going for you?
Dude, for me, fucking empath. That's how my life has been.
And that's what we're going to talk about too today.
Yeah, I just want to know, like, what percentage of our audience is empaths? If you're an empath, drop us a message. Like, you guys know where to find us: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Um, anything going on with you, let us know. We like to know what's going on in your life. Definitely share. Thanks for coming back as well. I mean, like, I know a lot of you guys come back every single time.
For real, yeah.
And honestly, that fucking makes me feel good. That makes me feel good. I'm not like, no homo.
Yeah. No FLOMO either.
No homo shit. Yo,
And
so how would you define an empath?
um, I would say it stems from the word empathy, right? So someone who feels a lot, someone who is hypersensitive to their surroundings, the energies in their surroundings, can basically be hyper intuitive and read people really well. And yeah, at times it can sort of be somebody's blessing and their curse, right? Because it's like, yeah, you can read people very well, but what if you're in an environment where you're downloading somebody's thoughts, right? Or you're like absorbing somebody's feelings in that moment. It's like, it can be quite a difficult thing if you don't know how to channel it and how to control it.
That's so true. That's so true. For a lot of us, I feel like you said, it is like a superpower because we're sensitive. That sensitivity does not mean weakness. I want you to think Spidey senses. Spider-Man and his fucking, he feels something is going on, right?
Yeah.
Now, for empaths, a lot of the times they feel what's going on and they think it's their own.
Yeah.
For me, this has been happening where I was like having these big fears of failure and really seeing myself as like just a loser and just, no good and just like worthless and doesn't actually bring anything to society and, just very, very, weak and taking their desires are stronger than their will. And the thing was, that's not me. That's definitely not me, right? But I did a tarot card reading recently, one of the internet ones, where you pick a card, and sometimes you can pick two, or sometimes that whole video is meant for you. Sometimes,
Yeah,
um,
I know what you mean.
and people like to say it's a general reading, Yeah, but it's coming from spirit. It's coming from spirit, right? You're connected to spirit. She's connected to spirit. Like there's no mistakes, right? Just what resonates with you.
Yeah.
What resonates? Like, do you feel it? Do you in your senses? And shoot, they were telling me that there were people, that were close to me and that were thinking about me negatively and speaking about it in their circles. People that know me. I have a feeling, look, anyway, regardless of all that, just protecting myself with love, really, and not feeding my lower self, right? How do I know it's not me? Because it's lower vibrational energy. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that person. You're not that energy.
Yeah, guys, and if you are like, let's say that you're working for a boss who also has like a lot of lower vibration energy or something like that, yeah, you will feel like you will know that that company is not going to do well in the future. Like you can foresee that as an empath. So get yourself out of there as fast as you can and do something where you truly align to your heart. I understand that sometimes you got to breathe, right? You got to make money, you got to do what you got to do. But at the same time, you want to not absorb but observe. That's the biggest thing for me. Like when I start absorbing people's energies and I start believing like, oh yeah, the collective unconscious is like me, like this hive mind that I can sense around me is me. And in effect it is me, because like it's all of us, right? But sometimes we get these downloads that it might just be somebody else's emotions or somebody else's storyline, and that starts to I guess infect our aura in some way. Like it starts to, I don't want to use the word infect because we're going through COVID, but it starts to infiltrate our
Cloud.
cloud. Yeah, it starts to fog our perceptions. So yeah, we got to get the defogging devices out and just work towards that. Yeah.
Mm, I personally would say, like, for me, just for not even necessarily for empaths, but for me, like working for somebody else in a corporate way, hell no, man. That's draining, dude. That drains me. That pulls so much energy out of it. It's not me. And I wouldn't call it bad. I would call it, evil. Because for some, I mean, you said that's like if the boss is like, like, just not low vibration, angry and shit. That was Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was a lot like that.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, he was a lot like that in his beginning. Less now, but still, he still has like a lot of that aggression. Some people thrive in that. Some people like that. I personally, I don't. For them, they're motivated by fear, and they
Yeah, I agree.
I'm trying to say something here. That a lot of times when, like, if you thrive in an environment like that, it tends to be because of like lack of love. Right now, a lot of these companies, like, they do go big, like fucking Amazon is huge. But you're sacrificing love, right? When you do it for fear, because of the fear, then you're sacrificing love, right?
Yeah.
You can't have both the fear and the love at the same time.
That's true. Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. Like I have two Apple products. Like I have basically I have like I'm using an Apple product right now, so like I have a phone right here and I'm recording this on my MacBook. But at the same time, it's like Steve Jobs, he did use a lot of, labor in other like third world countries and stuff like that to make the iPhones and things like that too. So, it's like at the same time, it's like understanding that, of course, there's this vibration or this understanding that you have to be kind of a jerk to be a leader. And I think that the problem that a lot of people fall into is that they become takers instead of givers. Because like for instance, Steve Jobs was still a giver, right? He's still giving a product to the market. Like he's still sharing his ideas, but he's doing it through a disagreeable way and his own way, right? Like just kind of pummeling through, pushing through, hustling through, right? Like kind of force versus power in a sense, if you're talking David R. Hawkins style, right? And so
Mm,
so I feel like you want to be a disagreeable giver, not an agreeable taker, if you want to be somewhat of a leader.
and I think in general, empaths, we need to be okay with being disagreeable.
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
Big mic drop.
because a lot of times we're just fucking sweet people. Like that's
Yeah.
what we're just fucking we. I mean, I feel like it's gonna sound like I'm what Owen Cook calls
Virtue signaling.
virtue signaling. Yeah, virtue
Yeah.
signaling.
Yeah.
But like big time, like um, I tend to think there's no evil. I tend to think there's no bad. I tend to think like just holy, pure, like just like fucking like a little kid like sees the world with pure eyes.
Mm.
Honestly, I see the world a lot like that, right? And honestly, I've gotten scammed before because I was trying to help somebody out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
tell
I
us that
saw
story, bro. Yeah, that's a really good story. Yeah. To
I
share
saw
with
that
the
there was
audience.
no way that they could I was like, no, these people are good. These people need help. If I was in that situation, I would appreciate it somebody like me, right? And still, like you get messed up a lot.
You get
So
manipulated, yeah.
that's why I wrote my book, and that's what I realized. That's why I wrote my book.
Yeah.
Command respect, learn to set boundaries using consciousness. I got fucking hiccups. Using consciousness psychology and the law of attraction. Because I was like, I was so connected into the oneness that it was difficult to see separation between, right?
Yeah.
So the part there, so like the more I learn, it's like learning to find a balance between the oneness and the you, because there is a separation between you and the oneness, but also remembering to connect back with the oneness and remembering that you are a part of it, right? So it's like this balance of energy, of thought and love that goes into it.
Yeah. And I think a lot has to do with alignment, because I know a lot of empaths, especially the ones that I work with, they're super, super intuitive. They have all the skills. They're clairvoyant. They have an inkling that I just have this glass ceiling, man. I'm about to ascend, but it's like they're misaligned, meaning like they're not coming from their heart, gut, and brain all together. It's either just gut, just heart, or just brain, right? It's kind of like misaligned. And so for a lot of those people, I would just tell you to, balance out your hemispheres, right? Like don't fully just go with the creative choice, introduce a little bit of logic into certain situations, like have an objective friend look at it and give their opinion. It doesn't mean that their opinion is right, because opinions are temporary, but also it's like, it's just another layer for you to look at it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely another layer. It's kind of like 3D. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, 3D. where you had to have the red and you had to have the blue,
Yeah,
right? And whenever you use
duality.
them together, whenever you use them
Bro.
together, you see better.
Bro, duality, like red and blue, like creates this whole world.
Fuck, it's true. It's true. That's interesting how red and blue are like show our duality in their own selves.
Yeah.
Because usually when we think about colors that demonstrate duality, it seems like obvious that it's like black and white are opposites, but it is true that for some reason blue and red are opposites of each other. Because the ocean and fire, there you go. That's what it is.
Or Democrat, Republican, or Jedi, Star Wars, and Dark Side, like the lightsabers, and then you have there's a lot of like blue and red, a lot of culture. Red pill, blue pill, Matrix, right? It's like a lot of it in culture is red and blue. You're right.
It's strange. Yeah.
What color does red and blue make? Purple, right?
Yeah. Maybe. Sounds like it. I don't know. I have no clue. Green. Green.
Go back to
makes
my
green.
classes. Yeah.
Makes green.
Makes green? Oh yeah.
No, I don't even know. I have no clue.
I think it makes purple. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is like, duality, right? Oneness, right? I think there's a certain universe or a certain dimension that doesn't even go by the rules that we are living in. Like we have the rules of duality and all this stuff. I think there's certain dimensions out there that go by their very own rules. And, they just live very differently and non-linear in a time scale. I think, certain cultures, there's polychronic time, right? Which is like you multitask, you like take a phone call and you're also eating a burger and then you're also driving like at the same time or whatever, right? And certain cultures like the Middle East or, certain other cultures are polychronic cultures, I don't know. But US is very like do one thing at one time, right? That's like monochronic.
What? I feel like maybe, I don't think so, man. I feel like we're moving into polychronic because you see people driving and fucking texting at the same time and watching a documentary series about a murder in Chicago on Netflix at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
true. Maybe we are moving into a more like timelessness, you could say. Yeah. But we still like, but what I mean is like, there's still a day like 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Whereas like in certain cultures, it's just like, you come in, you can interrupt someone while they're talking or having a meeting. Like if someone gets a phone call from a meeting from a polychronic culture, they just will get up and leave, right? They won't interrupt. They'll just interrupt the meeting and just get up and, But in a like a monochronic, it's like, nope. Why is the person so annoying? Like, why are they taking their phone call? All right. It's like a big deal that the interruption, breaks out. So
dude, and that's the kind of similar in India as well, where it's like if you go to, let's just say one of the cheaper movie theaters where they're more where the people are less westernized. Let's put it that way, because I feel like that's the best clear indication.
Yeah.
They're less westernized. So they go in there and they're watching a movie. I remember I went to go see a Bengali movie with you guys, and people were like talking
on the cell phone.
People are saying stuff. People are like, and when people laugh, everybody laughs. Everybody laughs together. The whole theater does it together. Like it was really fun. It was very like a communal thing. But then I remember we went to go see. What was it? We went to like a really nice theater. And we went to go see. I think it was a film about the Indian guy who was like about war. When Gandhi was like, "No, we got to do peace for freedom," and he was like, "No, we have to fight for freedom and shit like that." That guy.
Yeah, I remember. I forgot his name, but yeah, I know what you mean. He like became a monk or something, right? Yeah.
Somebody in that theater was like, somebody was talking over here, and then from across the room, someone was like, "Can you shut the hell up?"
Yeah, I remember that. And then everybody was like laughing at that too. It was like,
Oh yeah, I don't remember that.
yeah.
How'd you like my impression? You sound spot
It
on,
was
right?
good. That was pretty spot on, yeah. We'll probably do
Yeah,
voice acting for Indian women.
I've been practicing my storytelling. Just realizing how important stories are to human beings
Totally,
made me
yeah.
just realize, like, yo, like, make your storytelling better.
Yeah, and like all of these books, I realized, like especially the books surrounding like, like masculinity, like Robert Bly, for instance, right? They bring up a lot of myths, and myths are essentially stories. And basically, he's reintroducing myths to a rational world. So like he's bringing mystical concepts to a very like linear thinking world, where it's like, yeah, they're just stories, but these stories, like they have symbols, they have meanings, right? They have all of these different things that can add like so much value into our current lives. Like if you look at like, the story of, what was that story of like, no, not Oedipus. I think it was Homer in the Odyssey, where he goes out to the sea and there are all these sirens like tempting him. And then he like, he like gets a rope and he like ties himself to the boat to like lure the sirens in.
Mermaids,
Yeah,
sirens.
mermaids. Oh, were they mermaids?
I've never seen it, but when I think about a siren, that's what I do. I think about
Yeah, they're
like
like,
I think they're trying to say like this. It's like a
yeah,
human being, a
yeah.
human being that's just calling
Version
your
of that.
attention.
Totally, a human being version of a, yeah. Bro, that's exactly what a siren is. A siren is like a warning sign, right? So it's like, yeah, temptation. And like, just like in real life, right, we get tempted by like a piece of chocolate cake, right? And it's going, right? And we're just like, we tie ourselves to the boat and we're like, I'm gonna face this thing head on. Like, I'm gonna not give in to the chocolate cake, right? So that's like us struggling in the same kind of story of temptation that, you know, in that one myth
Mm.
is going through. I guess chocolate
So
cake is a lame example, but you
I
know
feel
what I
like
mean.
I feel like we've gone away from empaths, talking about empaths, and I
Right.
want to kind of
Right,
go
right.
back in that
Yeah,
direction.
that's no, that's a good call. Yeah, because we do tend to like hop around topics. That's good.
We talk about
Um,
a lot all over the fucking place.
yeah.
What do you think empaths need to do in order to set clear boundaries more?
Mm. I just think
Like,
like practicing.
feel the difference. Like, how do you feel the difference between other people's emotions and your own?
Yeah. So the thing is, like, the difference that I would say from the egoic mind and the soul mind is like when you listen to your higher self, you feel it more like a feeling. It's like a symbol. It's more like, it's not a logical thing. It's just kind of it's like a gentle nudge. So when you find yourself really trying to like analyze it and like break it down super, like that stuff is great, but then it's like about coming back into the beingness from the doing. So we've got to go from doing to being to becoming, right? But it seems like in culture all we're doing is doing. So for an empath, you're already in the being and the becoming, but you've got to be doing stuff. You get what I'm saying? Like concentration is the doing, and I'm talking about the yogic like system of meditation. Concentration is an activity. It's like doing something. In the West, though, they talk about meditation like it's a thing. You know what I mean? Like meditate on this topic. Rene Descartes' meditations, Marcus Aurelius' meditations. But instead, it's like actually becoming a being, right? So the becoming is the enlightenment. So I think what empaths really need to do to set boundaries is to be able to speak their inner truth in such a way that it is not brutal honesty, but it's radical honesty. And the way I differentiate between those two is brutal honesty is like vomiting on someone, is like dumping all your feelings out without warning. And radical honesty is taking ownership of your own emotions and being responsible for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The way I would actually, I want to add on to that and say that, like, sometimes when you haven't been expressing yourself fully, right? And you've been not very clear as well. Let's just take it like an argument. Let's just say something where like a small thing leads into a really big argument. That when that happens, that's a symbol that something's been going on and it hasn't been addressed, right? From, both parties.
Yeah, totally.
If it's just happening from one party, it just shows you that you're seeing something that's not there, right? That's how when me and my girlfriend, sometimes we've had like, it's like I'm the one arguing by myself, right? And she's like in peace and she's in love, right? And it's because I'm seeing something that's not there. It's the same thing with her. And when she's in chaos and I'm just in love, it's because I, same thing. But whenever it happens with two people, right? A lot of times we've been struggling to let it out, and suddenly it's like, right? I would say learning to separate yourself from that feeling and say, is this logical or is this emotional, right?
Yeah.
Right? Is this logical or is this emotional? Am I being rational or irrational? When I say it like that, rational or irrational, I think I'm being irrational. And like, it doesn't, like, it's not adding up logically, right? It only adds up emotionally. So that means that it's not truly valid. It has to be valid logically and valid emotionally for it to be like a holy thought. You can be holy. You can be a being that's whole, entire, not part.
I
like I feel like a lot with empaths, we are farmers. It's a fucking commercial. I'm surprised that you know that commercial.
No, I know it from a song. It's like they used it as the chorus, like from the commercial. So I'm like,
look how fucking distracted we get all the time.
But I know what you mean.
So
That's what I was talking about in terms of like the hemisphere synchronization. Like you got to use your logical brain and your emotional brain together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like
brain entrainment.
Brainwave entrainment, baby. Yeah.
For sure, dude. You saw that thing where I took two like pickaxes and I went together at the same time?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Is that what you're doing?
I don't do it like that. No, I don't do it like that. But I did it like that specific time. So I can like train both of my sides to do the exact same thing, both, right? And for sure, I do sometimes I like bring my focus and my awareness into my body. So I've been doing this thing with the singing bowl. I've been doing this thing with the singing bowl, right?
Yeah.
And I start to be like, I'm gonna fully let go and just let my higher self do the thing for me, right? And when that happens, the music sounds better, right? And I did it today as well. I was trying to bring awareness into this part of my body, which is my brain body part area. Because my third eye was turned on from my left, but it wasn't turned on from my right. For some reason, it felt like that. I feel it like dense, like I feel it really intense, like right here.
I feel that too sometimes when one nostril is like blocked and the other one isn't, and there isn't a pure channel. Sometimes I feel it more on my one side. And bro, can I just acknowledge like how creative we are? Like we create like, courses and workouts and like, drawings and like we do so much, right? And like we're so creative, bro. Like it's amazing to me. Like did I tell you I created the pranayama version of an ab exercise? Like
bro, what the fuck are you talking about? So
basically right? And you touch your elbow with your knee at the same time. So you're doing an ab exercise, but at the same time you're doing, it's like a cross crawl with the
Let me see.
pranayama.
Let me see.
You want to do it now?
Yeah, I want to try them now for the YouTube audience.
Bro,
Okay.
do a
Standing up?
demonstration. Yeah, live demonstration. Wait, let me move it to the pin. Yeah, okay. Do it. Yeah. And then, no, and switch. Then you got to switch nostril. Yeah. Yeah. Let it out. Inhale as you go up. Yeah. You got to find the balance rhythm.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it, dude.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
cool. So yeah, that's one I use for hemi sync. And
That hemi sync. You know what I mean? Me and my boy, we go to the fucking park and we get the fucking hemi sync on.
Yeah. I think that's where like there's a certain brand called HoloSync. Have you heard of that? Oh damn! Did you just zoom in?
Yeah,
Super
dude.
Cool. That's super cool. Oh, do you hear that? Is that the wind outside? Damn. That's hella creepy, bro. With the wind, especially.
Okay.
But yeah,
guys, my nose has a fucking butt crack.
It has a ridge, yeah. Butt crack. Drag it.
I just shit on you in my face. I shit on you again.
Yeah, empathy.
Yeah, empathy, right?
right. But yeah, feeling stuff, man.
Stop it, Soom. Stop it, Soom. Empathy, bro. Have some fucking empathy for me, bro. Can't you see I'm fucking going through it right now? Can't you see I'm fucking crying right now because I'm so fucking successful? And I just want to fucking the world to be fucking successful too.
Have you seen that Vine where this guy's like, bro, don't you ever listen to me? Like, I got a divorce and the dude is just like popping bubble wrap, like, bro, you been listening to me? And he like pops more bubble wrap and then he's covered in bubble wrap. It's hella funny. Anyway, empathy.
This is an episode for the empathy ADHD as people
community. Yeah. The ADHD
community.
And people are gonna resonate with this episode, I'm sure, because it's like, this is how conversations go sometimes. It's not logical, like it's not like A, B, like when we're texting someone, right? It's always like A, B, but in a real conversation, it's like, oh, bro,
I hate that shit, dude. I hate that, dude. I hate that. I fucking hate the texting thing. I text people for like one word thing, right? That shit. Oh my god. By the way, tell me if I look like a fucking claymation Wallace and Gromit type beat look.
Yeah, very much so, man. That's really good.
Hi, baby. No, I gotta mute, you know what I mean? I gotta mute.
Mewing, yeah. I don't know if you guys know what mewing is. It's by this guy named Dr. Mew, actually. I believe so.
He said to fix your teeth.
Yeah, it's for your jawline as well. It's for your entire like mandible and your whole like face, actually. There's something called facial yoga that someone told me as well. So
yeah, it's like the.
Yeah. Is that it? That just looks like something Elliot House would do, bro.
These are some exercises that you do, yeah. When you stretch, push your legs up.
Yeah. That's a good one, actually. Really good one.
Ooh, this one looks cool to watch. Like pranayama, but for your eyebrows. So you go.
Oh man, this is for that hemisync too. Left face, right face.
Like one of them, but make sure this one comes down and the other one comes up.
Damn, that's quite difficult for people who don't have, advantageous eyebrows.
I
Like
know, dude.
like flexible ones. Man, I just got a foam roller, man. I love it so much.
Foam rollers are live, man. Foam rollers are live.
Yeah, what do you think defines an empath though? Like,
For me, I think an empath is just, they're so kids, right? When they're in the nursery, when they're babies, they come out. If one of them starts crying, all of them start crying, right?
yeah.
And
Very
then
true. Not that I've been to a nursery, but I don't definitely feel that would be the case in a lot of movies.
it just makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that happens because the babies, they can't tell the difference between other people's emotions and their own.
So the ego hasn't developed yet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And energy, right? So then later when kids are at playgrounds, right?
Yeah.
There's one kid and he's crying, right? And then an empath kid goes up and they go up to that kid and they're like, yo, I see he's crying. Let me give him some toys, right? Let me give him some toys. And the empath kid gets his toy and he gives it to that boy, right? That's what an empath tends to do a lot. What he should have done instead was seeing that person was crying, help that person get to their toys. Instead of giving your own, help that person get to their own toys.
Right.
Because even then, they don't want your toy. Even then, when you think you're doing something good for them, they don't want your toy.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of households grow up with a kind of that like sacrificial mindset that I have to give of myself all the time, and give lots from like this kind of idea of loss, right, instead of maintenance. But yeah, a lot. I really like what you said about that, like the thing about like how the ego hasn't developed yet, right? Because empaths are super in their like in their soul, right? In their soul's essence, that they haven't really, that when they're clouded by judgment or ego, that's when problems also start to happen. It's like they can't balance. The emotional world is so vast for this tiny, meat sack that we're in. And so it's like overwhelming feeling. Meat sack. But like,
Come on, man. You couldn't come up with a better way to describe the fucking universe, man. You calling the motherfucker the universe a meat sack, bro.
no,
Come
like,
on,
I mean, our bodies are
You're
the
the
meat sack, not
fucking
the.
meat sack, bro. I'm in these motherfucking testicles with you, bro. I'm in these motherfucking testicles with my
We
fucking
were
family.
once.
Gandhi liberated and India inside of these fucking testicles, bro.
You gotta testify for the testicles.
Bro. Don't continue it.
Don't continue. Bro, you know what somebody told me? So I have a binaural page, guys. It's called Shellas and Tones, right? And somebody commented on one of my binaural beats that I had, does this still work for me? I had my chakra implant. I had a Kundalini implant and I don't have it anymore. I was like, bro, what? You would be dead if you didn't have chakras. Like, what are you talking about? Right? And this guy, he's like, no, it just merged with my core star. So I don't have any chakras anymore. So apparently
that's out of my sphere of reference, bro.
So I was like,
I have nothing to reference that to, dude. I have nothing to reference that to.
I thought it was just bizarre. I was just bringing it up. There's something called
Don't.
chakra removal system. No, yeah, that's what it's called. Chakra removal system. Hey, if we can have implants for titties, right? Why can't we have a chakra implant? Just makes sense.
I don't know, man. I guess like if you got like your stomach replaced, you could say like I got my fucking navel chakra replaced. I did some work on my navel chakra. Because really, all it just means it's an energy center. That's all it just means. So
Yeah, and it's a bundle of nerves too. So
like like when I tell people like describe your knees or describe like your legs, describe your feet, like da da da. How does like the way you talk about your body is how you really feel about yourself.
damn.
Like
Yeah, that's true.
I was feeling bloated and I was like, what is this saying about me? Overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. Right? That's what it taught me. I was like, you know what? That's so right. I feel so fucking overwhelmed. And that's connecting with my stomach. Right? You remember whenever you thought your knees were going to break?
Yeah.
It's because you thought you were going to break.
I think it did have something to do with my root. Definitely. Because yeah, the reason why I had so many issues with my legs and like clicking with my joints and stuff, I think it definitely has, well, it has something to do with like, because my mother took some kind of like medicine when I was in her stomach as a baby. But besides that, like, it was also like, because I'm very, like, my upper chakras are very high, but my lower chakras kind of show in the sense of my legs, like, you know, having these certain issues. So once I fully grounded myself again, I started to see improvement in my knees again. So I started walking, you know, started earthing on the grass and things like that. It really helped. Yeah, grounding is really great for empaths. I would definitely say that. Definitely be grounding.
One thing that I did today as a certified empath was that
Empath
I
certification.
imagined that I was like anchored at the bottom of the ocean with all this scary stuff. You know, like I was like at the bottom and like I was like an anchor. There's an anchor going miles and miles all the way down to the depths and the darkness, into the scary areas, right?
That's like shadow work. You're just describing shadow work.
and I was imagining the anchor there, you know, imagining the anchor, right? And it felt nice, felt chill, but I like to connect it to the ocean itself. So I like to imagine that I am the ocean, right? I am the depth of this ocean. I am like you are.
Yeah. Do you see that quote I posted about the ocean?
Oh yeah, and the dolphin jumps up in the fucking air and does a backflip.
Yeah,
It catches his skateboard and does an ollie off my back. Yeah.
Dolphin ollie. Dolphinately.
How long have we been going for? Do you know?
Yeah, 46 minutes. Yeah.
Mine says 47.
40. All right. Well, I joined a little bit later, so maybe that's why. Yeah, let's answer like two more questions and we can start to slowly wrap up.
Sure.
So I'll ask one and then you can ask me one, okay?
Oh, sure.
So my question to you is, as an empath who is very interested in being public or gaining exposure, what are some things that they can do to get over their fear of being seen?
So, one, learn how to protect your own energy. What does that mean to you? Right? What does it mean to have your energy protected? On a physical, like on on a way that makes logical human sense, and on a spiritual way that makes sense to your soul, right? How are you protecting yourself? Number two, I would say have routines for yourself, right? Have structure in your life that no matter what happens in the world, this is always going to happen, right? You do this because you need to make sure that even if you're getting hit by low vibration in the outside world, you're able to tune in into the high vibrations again. That's so, so important because you're going to get knocked down. You are going to get knocked down. You are going to fucking feel, and we're young. We're young. I know I'm not going to feel like this like in my 40s. I'm not going to be so fucking like, woo, woo, woo. Definitely not, 10 years from now. Definitely not 5 years. Maybe a little bit 5 years from now, but like still, like as the older I grow, right, I'm finding my balance, my ability to stay put even when the waves of the world are bringing me down. Because I find that even me who knows so much about the mind and the body and the health and protection and high vibration and consciousness, even fucking me can get knocked down. I was just totally humbled, was just totally like brought down to my knees, and just I was lost, so deeply lost, right? Even I, who knew as much as I did for a period recently, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I was lost, deeply lost. So, and I know that all I had to do was do my affirmations, do my meditation, go and exercise, go and eat right. But still, when it pushes you down, even when you know what you need to do, it's difficult. It's literally difficult.
Yeah, you sort of have to like swallow the pain and let it burn you from the inside, like make you reborn from the pain.
Dude, I was literally thinking that, like, I was like, being on fire, like, you look at the fire and it's alive and it's bright and it's strong and it's powerful. You're like, wow, fire, that's awesome. But then I think, like, I wonder how fire feels. What does fire feel like as fire, right? You know how you look at celebrities and you be like, I wonder what Cristiano Ronaldo feels like, right? Well, I wonder what the fucking fire is going through. What is it thinking?
Yeah.
It's feeling a fucking woof. It's feeling a fucking, like, an intense sensation. It doesn't feel calm to be fire. Fire isn't thinking, oh, this is so chill, just gonna burn.
Yeah. But that's
It's
the cool
literally
thing about fire.
Fire is like you're taking in these two different elements, and they're literally merging and merging and merging and merging. And you need more. You literally need to take more and more and take more to keep the fire on, right? That's literally what happens. You have to keep taking, burn, keep the fire going, right? Keep putting stuff into the fire. Don't stop the momentum, because when you stop the momentum, that's when the fucking waves are able to knock you down. You need to keep your fire up. You need to keep your fire up.
Yeah. It almost seems like you're relating fire to passion as well, because it's like
that's the element of it.
Yeah, that's the element of passion. I love it.
It is. It's the element. It's the navel chakra.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, like, we need to personify ourselves to be forces of the universe in order for us to really understand, because each of us has the element within us. Like, we are all oceans. If you're not an ocean every day, what my coach said, you'll be seasick every day, right? So you got to be the ocean. You got to be fire as well. You got to be earth as well. Ground yourself. You got to be air as well, everywhere. So yeah, once we come back to the elements as empaths, I think it's gonna sort of, that wholeness that you're talking about earlier.
You need to have ether as well.
Ether, yeah.
That's like the container. What's like, you can have a fish inside of a clean bowl or a dirty bowl. What's the bowl that you're gonna be in? Because no matter what, you're still inside of a bubble. You're still inside of a limitation, right? Limitations are important. I'm happy that I'm in the limitation of Earth, where the fucking gravity keeps me down here, and I don't float the fuck up into fucking outer space, right? Because there's literally a boundary there, and I'm not floating the fuck up over there. So I'm happy that there's a limitation.
Yeah, true that. Otherwise, we'll all be floating up, just like, whoa. Yeah.
Whoa!
Whoa. Sounds like a rap ad lib.
Don't tell my mom.
That's a great rap ad lib. Don't tell my mama. Oh
all
man,
right, so
I just
let me
knocked
ask
out
you a
my
question. So,
I'm in my headphone. Yeah, you want to ask me a question, bro?
yeah, from one certified empath to another certified empath.
Where do people get the
How do
certification?
you get certification? The
From the
light workers.
universe. From the
The light
Akashic
workers.
records. Yeah.
The Akashic Records University. So you are a very oceany person.
Facts.
How do you deal with fire?
That's a very good question, man. So I would explain, like, as you are relating fire to passion, I think too much passion can become anger. Right? It
For
can become
you?
rage. Yeah, for me. So when I have overwhelming amount of passion, it feels like it can become like almost destructive passion.
What?
So what I need to do is I understand that sometimes I'm a brush fire, like a wild brush fire, and at certain times I need to be that. Like let's say I need to get a certain point across on stage to talk to people, and I need to reach that audience. I need to be yelling at a certain point, right, to bring that fire out. But at certain times of the, I also need to become like a smoldering hot coal, just like intense but still burning. So it's about like, for me, the fire is about like modulating the fire in every situation. It's always going to be there. It's just in the background. It's like a radiator hum. So you control the calibration of the flame. So with your intention, with your thoughts, with your emotions, you can create much more of a vibrant, rapid fire, or you can create a very small flame like a candle.
I like it. Or you could be a fucking chimney, or you could be a fucking
Yeah, exactly.
you could be a burning
Fireplace.
Shit.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, I'll see you next time, guys. Let people know about the podcast. Like, I mean, I know you enjoyed it. Like, if you made it this far, I know you literally enjoyed it. Like, it's a fun podcast. And it made you smarter. You can't deny how much smarter you are right now. So definitely come back next time and let your friends know.
For real. Thanks for all the support, all the, hearts you send on Instagram and everything. We really appreciate every single comment and message. And yeah, may the flow be with you guys. Peace.
If you would like to contact Sumedh for peak performance coaching, go to @FlowZone Academy on Instagram. That's FLOZONE Academy. If you would like to connect to your higher self, contact Ivan at odd.resilience. That's ODD.resilience. Also, make sure you follow the Better Man podcast on Instagram. See you next time.